Okay, we're ready to get going again. We have 7 people, at least 7 people signed up for the open mic, which is nice. And our question of the month is, what is your favorite vegetable? So our first reader, his favorite vegetable is a crookneck squash, which I am not familiar with at all. I don't know what that might be, but I can imagine. And I'm glad he's here, Michael Spence.
Well, thank you, Michael, for hosting these events. And also, it's fun to hear Molly again read and T. Clear. I haven't heard her before. And Peter is a friend, and I always like hearing his work. Let's see. I just wanted to read, let's see, two, two poems. I was in the Navy for one hitch and decided that was not for me. And then I took a trip to Australia with my dad for a month about 27 years ago. So I want to read one poem each for each of those things. This is called Darkened Ship. I was on an aircraft carrier. Darkened Ship. At night, to keep the enemy from spotting us, our lights dimmed red, an ember's color, which at sea won't travel far. My recruiter had said the camaraderie of the sailors and sights I'd see would give me tales for home. But on my carrier, a ship huge as a glacier of steel, who could even meet the whole crew? To watch the stars, I'd step out on the port quarter, the place we threw our garbage overboard. That night, as I lounged in a far corner, someone backed onto the ledge. I need more time, he cried. Two other shadows pushed him to the edge. I yelled. Two shapes stiffened to ice, the third halfway over the rail. The red lights, smudging each face, made comrades of us all. And since this is a day of a full moon, I thought it'd be good to read this poem about my father. It's called Father Gathers His Breath. In the early dark, I'd wake. Those mornings before you shaved to leave for work, you'd come into my room and kiss me goodbye. Moonlight washed the room the palest blue as though it were underwater. Your whiskers felt like small needles. 5 years old, sometimes I'd lie still, pretending to be asleep. You'd blow gently on my face and wait for my eyes to open. The unseen light of x rays found the spots of light growing quietly in your lungs. Your last year, you went back to the Florida beach where you swam when young. Your short, clipped strokes fought the water, not letting it touch your face. Home again, you hammered the flight of stairs you'd put off fixing, each whack like a gunshot, and sanded the rail smooth as you shaved. You died at home in August, a blue moon about to rise. My mother called. You lay on your couch, your breath rapid like a diver getting ready to enter the sea. I think you hung on, waiting for me so she wouldn't be alone. Kneeling beside you, I called your name, but you had begun the arc. I watched your eyes close. Your whiskers prickled my lips. I stopped myself from blowing on your face. Thank you.
Our next vegetable lover is Steve Dolan. Is that right? And he likes Brussels sprouts.
Hello. Um, Thank you for hosting again. I'm going to read a couple poems. Been finally writing after saying I wanted to write for a very long time, and so it's been fun. The first one's called That Smile. I've been battling along an arduous road, creating rusted out wrecks of my dreams abandoned along the way. Violent storms have passed overhead, leaving thick mud that clutches at my feet, pulling me down into the muck. Yet I move on, one foot after the other. My steps are unsure, and I don't know where I'm going, but I must climb the hills in front of me. I'll fall, but then get back up. And then I'll fall again and get back up again, over and over, until I reach the crest of that hill. And I'll look down with joy and love at family and friends, old and new, amazing souls who've been with me along the way. And there, oh there, light will come back into my heart, happiness will be born again from laughter. Ah, there it is again, that smile. And the second one is a little more fun. It's called Read Receipts. Stuck in limbo, awaiting any word, a single phrase, anything to give me hope that you're still thinking about me. Yet there it sits. You've read what I've said and have nothing to say. How can that be? So here I sit, confused and alone, waiting for even just a smile. Thank you.
Bright lights. Tall microphone. Thank you very much. Ouch, I'm not going to try doing that. Okay, here we go. First of all, I do have an announcement because next month, ladies and gentlemen, raise your hand if you know what next month is, other than November. NaNoWriMo, yes, National Novel Writing Month, 50,000 words in 30 days. So I'm sure if you come to Soul Food, you will find some folks with little rubber ducks on their tables. They will be madly noveling, and you too can join them. So anyway, I hope you'll give it a shot, even if you've never written a novel before. It's great fun. Up next, if I can read your name, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. A fan of string beans, and I quite agree. I love string beans. Talina Lachelle? Did I even come close? Oh, good, good. Welcome, welcome.
This is something fun, and I'm gonna need to hold this. I'll put it back. Something fun. Wanna dance, dance, wild, 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 spinning, turning, jumping, dancing, crazy and wild. Dance alone, dance with somebody, wanna dance. Booty shaking all over the street. Toe tapping, neck swaying, head bobbing, dance a feisty dance, a wet dance, a simple dance, a meaningful dance, a silly, silly dance, dance of emotion, dance of trust, hip hop dance, y'all. Terrific tango, tango, sensuous salsa, salsa, yeah, wanna dance, bitty, bitty, belly dance, dance the hopscotch, dance the robot, dance with baby John John, smile all over his face, dance with the crowd, dance in my secret place. Wanna dance, whoo, oh man, dance, dance, flamingo, tap, 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 merengue, foxtrot, swing, dance, praise dance, dance for the Lord, dance barefoot, reach up from earth and down from heaven to the beat of my native drum, dance in a circle, make it rain, dance, 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 those cats spinning on their heads, dance reggae, clouds, halo the dreads, ooh, ooh, dance disco, waltz, do-si-do, dance, dance, no clogs. Dance the monkey dog, what y'all know about that? Dance hula, hula, dance like that famous Jackson, dance cause we sad, dance cause we're flipping mad, dance capoeira, feel it in your heart, calypso, balance, ballet, copa, dance. love is. When I think of love for my family, the ones that birthed me and the ones I've helped to come, I think of love that holds me. Being held is nice, really nice. I know that there is love available to me. There is no risk in loving my mother. Oh, but this soulmate of mine is a deep, filling breath. When I think of him, water fills my eyes and my body knows to relax. My chest can barely contain the whelming that is happening there. This is just the thought of him. When I see him, I forget that anything else matters. And no matter where we are, when I'm with him, I'm home. I love my mother. I enjoy her company. I like the proud mother look on her face. I have that look too. But his eyes, when he looks at me, he pauses. And I am more alive in that moment when he looks at me, paused like that. And I know that he cannot describe love for me. There is comfort in that knowing. What we have is more than love, it is pause. Haven't we done this before? Pause. Haven't we loved like this before? And I, catching his intentional looking at me, can't help. Really don't want to help, but pause too. I love my mother. Todos los días, all day long, but we never pause. We move, we cook, we bake, we take pictures, eat, and so on. Oh. But this soulmate of mine, we pause. We wait. We linger. We swell in our pausing, just looking at each other and remembering all those lives we shared together and contemplating this life together, even though we know that we have eternity. Thank you.
Another round of applause for first-time reader, Kalina. And Steve, was it your first time here too? So, another one. And how about our next reader, Billy Phillips? Is this your first time here as well? Yes. Excellent. Billy Phillips, who likes spinach.
Thank you. It's a poem about opening my eyes when the sun was out. The fever dream triumphant, past the cornea crazed jelly and the black light infinitum, pouring sparks and disintegrating light rays to the contrast cut out holographic scene, the sensual light storm puppet show of my fearsome feasting eyes. So much sensual phenomena, my cup runneth over with starlight delectable, and the sun-scarred catacombs of the realized. All I see is finished and perfect. There are souls in the buildings and great old men trees that show me the wind, garbage and benches and cut grass and footprint echoes that yell the satire chorus. Someone was here. The rocky representation of my hands and fingers. Looking down, I learned to see my nose. I hear things I cannot see. There's meat inside me that I cannot see. Things exist I can't see. I recognize this just in time because the shadow just arrived and is pacing behind me over my shoulder, slitching and sluttering through raspy breaths. There is a murderous instinct beating a poisoning, rippling heartbeat in our peripheral vision, contagion of atrocity in the lullaby twilight, just past the point of reference, just within earshot. workhorse. There is something harsh and dominant in the fields. A visceral emblem treading in torn earth, all the eviscerated earth. From the split stalk of a reaching desperate weed, see the powerful movement and troubling strength of the horse. Under the awful trunk, the crashing limbs, stomping and rending the branches and all the dead leaves, none of the earth ever wanted. Cracking snails on the rocks and perching in the branches of a giant moaning oak are the ravens in their wrathful indulgence, chipping and breading. Are they laughing to themselves? The ravens suddenly stop. They have sensed something coming. See the trembling, wretched fence. Look up and see the spreading stains of red altering the time of the sky. Behind clouds of coal and shearing sound, smell the rushing scents from some foreign field. There is a fearsome wind coming. A fearsome wind that wants the trees, that wants living things. There's a mangled goose scream responding to that wind, calling to it in despair and capitulation, and finally invitation, the scream of a collaborator, a traitor's voice. Come for us, come for the feeble, and give us your death. There are quivering things in the blades of the long, sharp grass. Young throats are calling out in anguish and fear. But the workhorse only shakes his mane and strides out to the meadow. He looks to the approaching spread of dark, the red sky reflecting large in his eyes, seeing with that shining marble gaze. What is it you think you're going to do? The ravens watch him. The workhorse stands below the great tree and feels the approaching storm, from its horror, from its shadow, and the smells of the coming night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Up next, a fan of cucumbers, and who isn't? Amy Harrison. Is this your first time? Yes, hurrah!
Okay, I'm gonna read two poems, but I apologize because they were written this week, and I'm gonna attempt to sing, which I've never done on stage, so this will be weird, but okay. Okay, the first one is called A Lesson on Meiosis. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Her hips wave in a white dress leotard spine, dispersed each thought between new strands, lift the eyes all recombined. Mother mixed and gave me half, a little more. Father split and gave me half, a little less. Jenna dance stand. The stage black painted silk red curtains hang as we wait between each song's rise and fall. There are many faces linked behind the spotlight, but the bright lens and distance distort eyes, all meld to one or none, sticks with fat and hands. This is what hums the speakers, surround the plush gray chairs we press cold metal down to fall inside. Hallelujah, hallelujah. No one with me, no one I came with. Behind, families whisper words. Before, they held flowers. I have no flowers. I pause in the black between the dance. I look around. Spotlight fades the crowd to only eyes. The curtains shift. She rises again. 46 Jennas, all thin, strong. 46 Jennas, all white, hands high, feet kick. 46 Jennas tug bodies and lift and rearrange on stage. I want to be the eyes that see only. Jenna toes the air straight kick and leaves the black silk curtain, caresses finger. Jenna strikes her shins to fall and catch. Jenna turned and leaning in. This is what spurns the hands inside my shirt for soft to numb the quivered breath, enzymatic drift. Telomere to not rewind, touch strands and tug side, cleaved membrane. Hallelujah, hallelujah. This poem is called A Lesson How to Decompose the Color of Burnt Salts. Bleeding, tired time and days who elongate unexpectedly, to catch them, to test the bands for strength. Today, red evolves and makes art of minerals, long, the moments between what we learn and sow, and what we simply let grow, how it tastes in my hands, less intention, more salt. I tried to find the way to make myself glow, amber. Mother says of summer, sun. Mother said of winter, earth. But glow can grow from fingers dropping Bunsen burner, light the cold. Salt from the fist, escape so vibrant, bite the flame. I try to light the way to burn my nails yellow. Mother says of color, only energies, the reflected spectrum waves. Mother tells of nanos, meters, lengths, spreading light that touches eyes. Mother teaches to decompose the vibrant spectacle. To capture color, the child must make sense of source, more beauty in the underneath. Born to live the way to make my brain this gray great. The atom is the nucleus, the electrons spin around, all gravity. What leaves returns. The negatives don't leave so easily, drawn to spin the gamma of the head. Fire gifts energy that push them up, away, unstable form. When they return, speeding, their path is an expulsion of waves, fresh light. Red, lithium chloride. Orange, borax. Purple, potassium chloride. Each head is a different size and each electron the same weight. The capacity is different stored in every salt. The waves left on the path for me to see depend on the force pulling them back home. From this yank the colors born. Green, cupric sulfate. Red, strontium chloride. Yellow, table salt. Blue, cupric chloride. I tried to twirl my knees to catch my hair, purple. Father by the cupboard when he thinks no one is home, I see him dancing, to know nothing of form, but be the atom spun. Father leaves at night, I see him skip in fields over lake, pretend to be the only home, no sound, thought, romance, but to feel this body, simply earthly, thoughtless. Close your eyes in the pantry. Can you feel your body? The atom spun. I am the shaker, nothing to learn but pretend and excite just to fall. Was the color really only a return to clustered nerves? Where did he run for Sunday? I felt once excite the lake at night by myself. Did I jump? And of course, the need to land. Did I wait? Elongate waves. I tried to miss the rocks to catch the air in my lips swell orange. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to have a batch of first-timers with us. Please come back. I looked up who the RASP reader is for October, and it is Jim Hopkins, who is storyteller. So please come to RASP over at the Old Redmond Schoolhouse Community Center in October, and then in November, Peter Ludwin will be the featured reader there. Next, we have Molly Plinkety Plink Tenny, who's going to whip out her banjo for us. And I should add that her favorite vegetable is not just carrots, but twin carrots.
think I'll just be like this. Michael said, bring your banjo. So I thought, okay, I'll bring my banjo. I don't really think of, usually I think of my music life and my poetry life as being pretty separate. I have put together programs where they go together, but. This isn't one of them. I think the banjo's loud enough without the microphone. So this is Baltimore, from a guy in who lived a while ago in Galax, Virginia. Gonna build me a house in Baltimore, 14 stories high, so I can see my own true love as he goes riding by. By, oh by, as he goes riding by. Oh by, oh by, as he goes riding by. When I was a little girl, 14 inches high, I used to climb the table legs, steal a pumpkin pie. Pie, oh pie, I'd steal a pumpkin pie. Pie, oh pie, steal a pumpkin pie. I wish I was in Baltimore, sitting in the old armchair, one arm around that whiskey barrel, other around my dear, dear, oh dear, other around my dear, dear, oh dear, other around my dear. I wish I was in Baltimore, so I can see my own true love as he goes riding by. By, oh by, as he goes riding by. By, oh by, as he goes riding by. So there's Baltimore. Just a little piece of a song here. Johnny Gordon lost his cow, where do you reckon he found her? Up and down the rocky branch, 100 buzzards round her. Look here, look there, looky way over yonder. Don't you see that old gray goose smiling at the gander? Johnny Gordon lost his hat, where do you think he found it? Up and down the rocky branch, the little bird singing in it. Look here, look there, look you way over yonder. Don't you see that old gray goose smiling at the gander? Johnny Gordon lost his. What did he lose this time? I forgot. Oh, Johnny Gordon's sick today. What do you reckon ails him? Eat a dozen rotten eggs, then his stomach failed him. Look here, look there, looky way over yonder. Don't you see that old gray goose smiling at the gander? Johnny Gordon lost his wife. Where do you reckon he found her? Up and down the rocky branch, a young man's arms around her. Look there, looky way over yonder. Don't you see that old gray goose smiling at the gander? Johnny Gordon went away. Where do you reckon he went to? Up and down the rocky branch, he's got no home to go to. Look here, look there, looky way over yonder. Don't you see that old gray goose smiling at the gander? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was awesome. I have not heard a live banjo in a very long time. Too long, I can tell, obviously. Up next, we have a fan of cauliflower. Yay, cauliflower, the underrepresented vegetable. Abigail Cordell, please.
Unfortunately, I feel I didn't come prepared. I brought a laptop. Soup. I am man. I am woman. I am truly man. I am truly woman. I am Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Wiccan, Scientologist. I am second grade rhymes. North America, South America, Africa, Asia. I am little blonde pigtails growing up my big brother I am proud to call mine. I am a strong man holding his baby girl in his arms for the first time. I am a teenage boy grasping his grandfather's hand for what might be the last time. I am trailer park trash, just working to make ends meet. I am suburban parents planning my daughter's 16th birthday, trying to make it sweet. I am strong African woman trying to explain to my child why they can't have what's called an education. I am the monk, silent and still in meditation. I am young, old, ancient. I am 1, 2, 3, you, her, me. Undoubtedly, I am we. You may see me as color, shape, and size. I appear different in everybody's eyes. I am more than just my everyday disguise. Covered in polka dots, 4 stories that says a lot. I am anything you see with just about as much chemistry that decides whether or not you give me empathy for the difference that you find hard to conceive. I am feelings for your mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, lover. I am inevitably here to discover and prove that life's purpose is to love each other. So despite what the hate has told you as it whispers, it slithers in the ears of butt kissers and those who've served Hitlers, the murderers, rapists, killer, racists, despite the media, the religious cult leaders, the bad advice found on Wikipedia, you are connected to every word in the dictionary, every poor crazed visionary, every rant run out of steam. Like mine. Every little boy and girl with an unrealistic dream shot down by the bully on the playground that is just plain mean. Nothing is just as black and white as it seems. We all have a heart and soul that gleams. It speaks and shines like mine in this plain, simple rhyme. So this is a call to action derived from passion. Let's make kindness and humanity the world's coming attraction. And this is just a little something I wrote on the 16th, actually. There's a coffee shop in the heart of Redmond, not far from here. It always seems to me that all roads lead to this place. It is the residence of so many faces, and yet it is only the living room of the entire movement. I have found myself wandering to it over and over again. The more I try to stay away, the more I find myself calling it home. It is the base where all cultures meet and all of happiness sit down and drink their cup of morning coffee. It is so welcoming that it has convinced many of the most die-hard travelers to sit and make space for a while. With the still fresh memories of my first moving of residence, I am weary to call any place a home. I am stuck between two places that I appear to reside in, one of the old and the other new. The only constant has been this coffee shop. It is memories where the new is unfamiliar. It is different enough from the old that it still has that new sparkle to it. It is my mid-leap home. It is food for my wandering soul, yet it calls itself soul food.
Now, I'm going to take exception to this next vegetable lover because this person says he likes green grapes. But apparently that's a vegetable, at least for Michael Heavener.
Punch it in. I don't have a laptop tonight. It's taken to turning itself off. In the last week, it shuts itself off at the most random times, and today we figured out why. Today we figured out the keyboard is warm, and a little 4-footed kitty has taken to sleeping on my laptop. So now I can go home and figure that out. Anyway, I like using electronics for poems. It's the only way I ever catch the thoughts anymore. I don't have a notebook, so I catch them whenever they come. Called Fresh Baked Nights. There's bread in the window across the street and a shop that's closed. Oh, I wish I could cross the road and taste that fresh baked scent. Some people, good friends, had me over for chatter and some wine. The wine was dull, the crackers stale. I watched the moon descend. The wife and I drove across a bridge to see the northern lights, but all we found were clouds of gray and later black on black. That window, the one with the bread, 2 busy lanes away. The scent of dough flows along the angled parking lines. She stood by the rail throwing crumbs at the water and me. The wind in her hair as we kissed on the bridge, alone.
Thank you, Michael. And once again, thank you to Molly and T for being our featured readers, and also to Peter. Actually, I was going to ask a question, but first I'll read you something. After the quake, the smell of gas, warm milk. After the quake, adding "I love you" to a letter. Aftershock. Pausing, then finishing the argument. Fresh pavement. A child's footprint and autumn leaves. Does anyone know what happened on this date, October 17? Anyone know? What? 1989. Yes. I'll give you a hint. Yes. Yes. I published a book called Tremors. It was a book of earthquake haiku written in response to the October 17, 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake that killed 63 people in the San Francisco area. At the time, I lived in Foster City, California, which is landfill, about halfway between San Francisco and San Jose. When the quake struck at 5:04 p.m., I was at work on the second story of a 4-story office building in Foster City. Ceiling tiles were falling down among us as we rushed to door jambs to protect ourselves. Several window panes shattered. The lights flashed and went out. A couple of computer monitors crashed to the floor. These are the old kind, they weren't flat screens. As did several bookcases and other unsecured items. My most profound memory of that moment, though, was the earthquake's sound. It was an extremely deep vibrato, not a rumble like thunder, but a massive and precise vzz. It was that, but deep sound. I don't know if any of you have ever heard it. It's just very surprising. It seemed to come from everywhere at once, both above and below you and even inside you. And then in 15 seconds, it was over. A friend had a handheld TV, imagine that, in 1989. And out in the parking lot, we saw immediate views of the collapsed section of the Oakland Bay Bridge, the chaos at the third game of the World Series at Candlestick Park, and later, the devastation of the Cypress Structure Freeway in Oakland, where most lives were lost. The World Series was between San Francisco and Oakland that year, but because the game was about to start when the earthquake hit, commentators later concluded that many people were already at home to watch the game. If that had not been the case, many more people would have been on the freeway in Oakland when it collapsed. Original estimates of deaths on the freeway turned out to be triple or quadruple what they actually were. And of course, none of us could forget that moment. I saw it later, when the breathless World Series announcer was interrupted in mid-sentence by a loss of signal. "We're having an earth," and then the television feed went dead. The days and weeks after the earthquake were intense and traumatic. Power was intermittent at first. Phone service was extremely limited. I was unable to stay in my own home for a couple of nights. All of my bookcases had toppled over and the place was a mess. But the biggest problem was a shifted furnace in the crawl space and the danger of a gas leak and an explosion. Tap water ran dirty for weeks. Even the slightest of the frequent aftershocks would produce vertigo or cause everyone to tense up. I had to visit the collapsed Cypress Structure Freeway myself to see the devastation and could not imagine how an entire car and its occupant could be squeezed down to just a few inches between massive slabs of concrete. On the roads still open, we drove well below the speed limit for months, pausing and then rushing to cross under overpasses. The Bay Bridge was closed, so extra traffic lines were marked across the San Mateo Bridge to allow traffic to drive on the shoulders. The rubble of collapsed buildings lingered for months in some places. Halloween decorations were still up in condemned buildings more than 6 months later. Very odd to see ghosts and pumpkins still up in April. Within a year, photograph books that commemorated the event began to appear. But even several years later, some buildings and freeways were still not rebuilt. The Loma Prieta earthquake, obviously, was a life-changing experience, and not one that I would wish on anyone. And to close tonight, this is a short sequence of earthquake haiku from my Tremors book, The Last Leaf. After the quake, the weather vane pointing to earth. Autumn sun. Amid the rubble, quaking Aspen. After the quake, candlelight dinner. Aftershock, tripping on the flashlight in the dark. Another victim, laying the body bag on the flower bed. Aftershock, empty swings, swaying. Nightfall, the last leaf trembles. And my favorite vegetable is potatoes. Thank you. Good night.